not much room to spare, we have successfully installed the walls on our slider.
That is clean.
Nice.
We got way better.
Wow.
Practice makes perfect.
Look at our home coming together.
You're my home.
Aww. Welcome to week 3 of our Sprinter van conversion with us, Mr. and Mrs. Adventure. So far, with our insulation, flooring, bed frame, and swing complete, this week it's all about wiring walls, windows, and having fun. Most of our days beginning a little something like this. Sleepyhead.
Let's get out of here. Let's get to the workshop.
Breakfast on the road.
Start me up.
Well rested, refueled, and ready for action. Do you know what time it is?
It's action time.
It's tool time.
New power tools. So right now I gotta do some placement of the wires before I do the paneling on the wall, because otherwise these wires would be exposed. So it's super important I plan this step out, because these are low wattage lights and they're not pulling a whole lot of energy. I can use an average 12 or 14 gauge wire on this. Hallway light 2. Boom. Here's our wiring mess right now. We've got them all marked out with numbers, and at the end of each one, for example the sink light, we have a number 8. We got some cool Morocco lights we're going to put in here. Pulling the spool here, and that releases the wire in which we're able to feed through to these hooks and run it all the way throughout the van. Got to power our fan too. Dad was an electrician, so he's got a few things to show me. Right above our furring strips, right here, we're trying to slide in these wires so that we can run the hallway lights. We'll hook those to a dimmer right by the kitchen sink. We're making a reading light right now. And then we're going to have a USB for a fan at times, and twinkle lights above the bed. And we're going to wire everything in using this fuse
Oh, that's
box.
the hub.
And that's where all our wires right now that we're running to have to go from below the bed, up this pillar, to this spot. I think it's about where we hoped it would be at this point. Would you say so?
I think so. I'm excited with the wiring. That's huge. What is this, conduit? Or
Conduit for the electrical.
you got some donkeys? What are these called?
Sawhorses. There's some no donkeys in the building. We're going to be doing some painting today.
You got some paint.
Yep. Load them up.
Primer for the garage. Primer for the wall.
You'll be using this paint today, babes? Another day, another dollar.
Same
Back
old.
at the new howler.
With the wiring nearly done, that was my cue to get to work. Looks really yummy. Saturday night here at the workshop. I'm in my best painting smock and painted all of our walls today. We used a semi-gloss so that it's easy to clean off if anything should splash on it in the van. And now things are about to get serious because we're gonna try and hoist up our walls, measuring out our window holes like precisely. How are you feeling?
Nervous to cut those holes because I want them to end up very correctly so that they're not all
Zigzaggy in the wood?
Zigzaggy and funky.
We could just make them like lightning bolts or something.
Let's see what happens when we start cutting.
And you've done a really nice job with all the wiring. He stuck it all in the conduit today. Look at all that. Got some organized systems going on. But yeah, let's get to work on these windows and walls.
So right now we want to mark all the supports that are in the van back here. Had we been thinking ahead, we probably could have done this in the very get-go by taking pictures of the framework and the shell of the van. But
before
now
it's covered,
that we have the reflectix
right,
and all the insulation up, and now we're about to put 1/4-inch plywood on that's painted, it'll be really difficult to see where the supports are to make sure that we're drilling into the van properly.
Yeah.
For when we put the supports for the cabinets that will be running the entire length of the driver's side. And one of the big things we had to figure out was at what part do we put the seams for the 4x8 sheets of plywood. And because we know the garage is separate, we're going to run boards only down to these beams for the garage. And they're going to be 8-foot sections running as far as they can to meet in the middle of the van. So there'll be one 8-foot section there, an 8-foot section there that will run right behind this cabinet.
And we're leaving the ceiling open until we get to San Diego, right?
And then we'll put reclaimed wood planks on the ceiling.
SD Urban Timber.
Yep. And then on this side, we're going to do the same. We're going to run about a 5-foot sheet right here. That'll be 4 foot down by 5 foot this way to meet on this seam. That way there'll be support at the edge of the plywood. And over here, there'll be about another 6-foot piece roughly.
So I think we figured out a good method for cutting out our window holes out of our plywood walls. I have here a cutout replica of our back window that goes above our bed. And then here we have a diagram. We measured exactly how low from the ceiling, how in from the back, and how high off of the basically where our bed is, the hole should be cut. So we're gonna measure this cutout according to these measurements on our wooden wall and hope for the best. Why do they sound like that?
The machine gun? That's the type of, it's a hammer drill.
And the bottom?
Say 10 inches. Haha, that's what she said. 10 inches.
Trying to be very, very careful before cutting out this window here.
Very particular to make sure our dimensions are spot on. That centerpiece window is looking really good, babe. A lot of sanding, a lot of elbow grease going into that.
Did a nice job there. Like you're looking down into a rabbit hole.
Anyone down there?
It took us a few days and a few long nights to get the job done, but piece by piece, the walls were starting to come together. So we're taking a little break from our van build at the Sugar Shack. Our really good friends, our great friends, have this amazing backyard, and you've got to check out Sugar Shack on YouTube. That says it all. At the workshop. Right now, Drew's cutting the wood for our slider door. That's what this is. And we're gonna try to make it look so pretty because we always take so many photos out our window.
Dinner, a sunset, a movie, a complete night in our van.
With a really pretty view.
It's incredible out there.
And look at how nice that is. Pink sky. Good morning. It's another day at the workshop. Well, I guess it's afternoon now. We're getting ready to hoist up the last wall in the van. Oh yeah. It's gonna look good. How we're gonna know where to make the holes for this rubber stopper that has to fasten into the door.
Right here.
So
once we put it up, we just can't tell where the holes are behind it.
So we've put the screws in their place and we're gonna see what kind of a mark we can leave. Perfect. Once might have been enough, but Drew really wanted to get the marks that we needed in order to do this job right. All right. It was lined up right. Okay.
Let's hope.
Let's hope we got some marks. Show me. Oh yeah,
There's some marks,
good enough.
But a couple different marks. Oh no.
There's like triple marks.
I would imagine we had it right at first and then it slid down.
Worked.
We got one hole in on the first try.
And it lines up. Perfect. Look at this. Home of future views. Wow.
Look how good that edging looks along here.
I like this color too. Look at that. Oh yeah. That's nice. Good job.
I'm nice.
You are.
There's a painting in progress.
I like the wood,
I know you like the wood.
but now I've painted the walls. Prior to mounting our walls, I painted them with 3 coats of a nice white semi-gloss primer/paint. But when we found some leftover colored paint at Drew's parents' house, particularly one called Ionic Sky, we just couldn't resist. Ooh. And as much as we loved the look of natural wood, we settled on the idea that having painted walls would help brighten up our little home. Then, once we get to San Diego, where we'll be making our cabinetry, kitchen area, and wood-paneled ceiling out of repurposed wood, we'll leave all of that natural so it can truly shine. So in conclusion, with our wires, walls, and windows complete, week 3 was quite a success. Although, the one dilemma we're having is how to fill the gap around in between the windows and walls, so you don't see the not-so-beautiful great stuff and reflectics. We're thinking a mix of Bondo, shim, and maybe some quartered round wooden trim. What do you guys think? Framing our porthole is going to be especially tricky. We love sharing the progress of our future rolling home with you. And if you haven't already, we invite you to subscribe so you can join us for our weekly van build episodes. Next week marks our 1-month anniversary of starting this exciting project, and we're so stoked to be sharing all of the transformation and learning with you. Until next time, remember to make the most of this life and follow us on Instagram at Mr. and Mrs. Adventure. See you next week.